Use this filter to determine which opportunities to seize, delegate, or walk away from. In this episode, I'm going to address how to create more opportunities than capability. Get ready. I hope to blow you away. So my name's Doug Andrew, and I'm very passionate about helping people like you have clarity, balance, focus, and confidence in your life for a brighter future. Now, I've been a public speaker now for just about 5 decades. I have a national radio show. I have this YouTube channel. It's called 3-Dimensional Wealth, because I love to focus on what I call all 3 dimensions of authentic wealth. Not just money, even though I've been viewed as a financial strategist and a retirement planning specialist now for most of my career. But I've noticed that it's really about your health, your values, your family, your beliefs. Those are the most important assets that we value and that we cherish. And a lot of people go through life and they're wobbling just on the financial leg, and they need to take that wobble out of their life and get balanced on all 3 legs of that stool, so to speak. And one of the game-changing principles that I teach in an educational event called Retire by Design is how to create way more opportunities than you have capability to be able to handle, to seize, and that's a nice problem to have, and then I can solve that problem by using a filter. So let's go through and let me help you understand how this can help you to have way more opportunities in life than you have the capability to seize. So as I mentioned, one of my goals is to provide clarity. So in this episode, get ready. I want you to be thinking clearer at the end of this few minutes than you were thinking when you first clicked to watch this episode. That's my goal, because you're gonna get energy when you have clarity. But when people say, Doug, what is it that you're selling? Well, clarity, balance, focus, and confidence. These represent the 3 dimensions, the 3-legged stool that I was talking about. So why am I passionate about this? Because when I can provide clarity for you, you will get energized. So when we talk about clarity, when people have more clarity and they have new direction, they always have more energy. And so when I go through and perform what is called a clarity experience, and you can search that video on this channel, at the end, people are always energized. They have way more energy at the end of that exercise than they did at the beginning. The second is balance. Now, when you go down the highway and your vehicle is balanced, then you don't have wobble. But if people are out of balance, they have wobble, and that actually slows them down in life, just like on the highway. So when you have balance, it actually speeds up. It increases the velocity in which you'll achieve your destination or your goals. Now, the third is focusing on what matters most. It amazes me how many people do not know how to prioritize, and they've never been taught how to focus on what matters most, because if you focus on that, that increases the accuracy in which you will achieve your goals, the destination you're trying to achieve. Okay? Now, with clarity, balance, and focus, what will you have as a direct result or product? You'll have increased confidence. Now, confidence is the greatest gift I can give anyone, and I want to gift that to you in this episode, because when you have confidence, you will attract opportunities. Lack of confidence repels opportunities, because I've mentored many people, and those who lack confidence, they don't even recognize the opportunities. In fact, they usually see them as threats or challenges. And I tell all kinds of stories on this channel about people who learned how to have confidence and how these opportunities got attracted. And other people looked at the exact same situations and said, those are challenges. I don't even want to have to deal with those. 2 people looking at the same thing, okay? So when we look at this goal, this allows us, when we have opportunities to go through life and we have such an abundance of opportunities, we have to have a filter. But unfortunately, the saddest thing I see is that people go through life with what Dan Sullivan calls big C, little o. Now, Dan Sullivan is a coach of entrepreneurs. He's one of my friends. And so this is where people have way more capability throughout their life than they have opportunities. How sad is that? Because they've never been taught to recognize opportunities. They see it as a threat or a challenge. I like to flip that. So our graduates, through our various educational events, end up with more opportunities the rest of their life than they have the capability to seize. What a nice problem. See, my wife and I, with our 6 children and 20 grandkids, at our annual Grandpa's Camp, one of our goals is to teach our children and grandchildren how to go throughout life with way more opportunities than they can ever have the capability to seize, and then I show them a filter. So when we do this, I was asked to write an article for HBR, Harvard Business Review. You know how hard it is to get published in HBR? Well, this article about how to prioritize your opportunities with a checklist went to the front page in 48 hours. I was like shocked. What? Harvard doesn't teach their students how to prioritize? I was blown away. So this was read and said, wow, this is profound. I'm going, really? So in my book, The 10 Keys Transformation, I talk about this in a different light. I call it big A, little e, or big E, little a. So we're going to talk about more availability than you have engagement opportunities, especially if you're a business owner. And so many businesses go through and they have way more availability in their calendar than they have clients or patients or whatever. I like to flip that so that you have way more people who want to engage with you than you have the available time in your calendar. A nice problem to have. Then you can filter which clients, which patients that you want to have a relationship with and which ones you don't. You want to delegate to somebody else because they don't fit your profile of an ideal client. That's a nice problem and it's easy to solve with a filter. So this is why I call it the engagement filter. This is a sample of just one of 22 tools that I have. And so when you subscribe to this channel, you'll have the opportunity to hear and see some of the explanations of these tools. If this is intriguing you and you've already heard enough that you want to share this with a friend who ought to watch this episode, be sure and share, post a comment, click like. But most importantly, please subscribe. And click the little bell when you do. Then you'll be notified every time I post a new educational video, which I do almost on a daily basis. And I have over 500 educational videos on this very channel. So let me show you the power of one of 22 tools that I teach about on this very channel. This is called the engagement filter. And so every time there is an opportunity out there, I teach my kids and grandkids, my employees, and many of my clients who are business owners to go through and fill this out based upon an opportunity they have. And you have to score it on a scale of a -1 to a +5. So many times I have opportunities to go speak at 3 different places all on the same day, and I can't do all 3. And so I have to choose the one that scores the highest, and this is how I go through and score. I only engage when there is a positive impact for everyone involved, and so I will score myself back here on this based upon a scale of a -1 to a +5 on impact. Next would be magnify. So you want to seize the opportunities that magnify my expertise, and so I'll rank it. Is this going to magnify? Is this going to cause me to stretch, enhance? And if that does, then I might score it 4 or 5. If it doesn't, then it's a -1 or a 0. The next is engage with relationships that will recommend you. I don't want this to be a dead-end street. If I'm going to recommend this company or this doctor or whatever, I want them to recommend me. I want this to be a complementary situation. The fourth is seize opportunities that will leverage your expertise. In other words, I know what I'm good at. I don't want to be a fish out of water. I want to seize an opportunity that may cause me to stretch, but it's still in my expertise. And so I want to leverage that to help the audience go to a higher level. And the last thing I rank on a scale of a -1 to +5 is this engagement opportunity going to multiply? In other words, is the whole going to become greater than the sum of the parts? What I can benefit from this and what the person I'm speaking for or that I'm engaging with can benefit, so that everybody's better off. And I teach this to orthodontists, realtors, accountants, attorneys. So whenever I have any opportunity, I go through and I score that, and then I have a bottom line. It used to be something had to score 16 out of a possible 25, and then pretty soon I had way more opportunities than capability. I had to raise the bar to 21. Now it has to score 24 or higher, or else my assistant doesn't even bring it to me, because I'm blessed with way more opportunities than I have the capability to seize. I have to filter them out. Then I go through this opportunity breakthrough. So based upon that, I want to use the opportunities that will harness my exceptional expertise. And a minimum bar is set, and then the conclusions are drawn, and I'm going to have to make one of 3 decisions. I'm going to seize this opportunity. I'm going to delegate it, maybe to somebody else in my company, one of my sons or what have you. And there's some that just don't fit, and I walk away from them. This makes it simple to be able to determine which opportunities to seize and which ones to walk away from. And when you do this, you will be able to create way more opportunities than you have the capability to seize when you flip this and you understand these concepts. So, if this is resonating with you, one of the books that I reference in my full 6-hour training is Blue Ocean Strategy. It's a business bestseller. And basically it just talks about this blue ocean of opportunity out there. But so many people in the business world are in a red ocean, shark eating shark bloody world. That's the red ocean of competition, tearing down your competitors, tearing down all the other buildings in town so you're the last building standing. No, that's actually the red ocean, where 80% of so many professionals' time is spent tearing down the competition, trying to build yourself up. You know, if you just flip it and you focus 80% of your time on helping your customers and separating yourself from your competitors in a blue ocean of opportunity, and all boats rise with the tide, then you're focusing on solving the customer's problems, eliminating the dangers that they're facing, helping them seize the greatest opportunities, and harnessing the best strengths they possess and you possess. And when you do that, you'll have unlimited opportunity. Now, I have episodes on this channel that talk about all of these, but if this is resonating with you, claim your free copy if you haven't yet of this book, Entitlement, Abolition. It's 200 pages, 12 chapters. You contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. You go to entitlementabolitionbook.com and I'll fire out a free copy of this. I also teach this in my best-selling book, The Laser Fund. The Laser Fund is actually 2 books in one. The white covered side is 200 pages, 14 chapters with all the charts and graphs. It's the left brain thinking side. If you are more of a right brain thinker, you flip it over, and this one's 100 pages, 12 chapters with all kinds of stories and examples. And many of the things I'm talking about are explained in this side of this book. You can actually get both in a bundle, and there's options there to watch and learn, listen and learn. But let me also tell you what you ought to check into. When you go claim your free copy of one of those 2 books, or maybe you invest in the bundle and maybe the master classes, there will be information about some of our online events where you can attend a live event virtually in the privacy of your home or your office. And one of those that I would strongly recommend is called Retire by Design. And anybody that's going to be retiring in the next 10 years, it's an absolute must-attend course. So check out Retire by Design, subscribe. You'll get a discount when you go to claim your free copy of one of those 2 books. And we hope to see you there in the future on one of our virtual events.